Welcome to this week's Tech Show, where we've got a new bike from Whyte, we've got another new bike from YT, we've got a tuned mass damper. More on that. And we've got a new gravel bike and much more. In recent months, we've seen a growing trend, and going off your comments about some of the videos we've done in the past about products from Temu and AliExpress and how, well, this trend is just not going away. So got us thinking, are you going to buy your next group set or your next fork or your next wheel set from Temu and AliExpress? These brands are, well, they're portals from factories direct to consumers. So they're kind of a bit like some brands are able to miss out the middlemen, but they're just from brand straight to you. Well, that's the idea anyway. And some of the brands are on there are really big brands, or at least they seem to be. Some of the other brands that are up there are sort of up and coming brands, which we might not have heard of too much in sort of Western Europe or in America yet, but they could be the next big thing. And some of the other brands are, well, they may not be anything, but they're on there and there is huge variety. But some of these brands that we see on there, well, they look really similar to other items. Now, officially, AliExpress and Temu don't sell counterfeits. That's officially in their kind of T's and C's, that they don't do that. But some of the products that are on there, well, they're interesting. They're very close. I'm not an IP lawyer, but it goes very close to what might be considered. But let's go into why you might buy from AliExpress and why you might buy from Temu. And I think the headline figure is that pricing. They do offer much lower pricing on the big brands, on these sort of up and coming brands as well. And some of that is because it's a direct to consumer model. So there's lots of parts of the food chain which are just eliminated in this direct to your front door. Some of it is also, well, how these products are sourced. We're not quite sure whether they're from direct factories or whether they're from OEM products. So maybe they were destined to be bike builds, so they've been bought at a different price. Some of them are also really cheap because they're able to ship straight to your door, and because they're under certain price points, it means that they don't get the tax banding that other products do. So that seems like a big plus to a degree. Next thing we've got to talk about is this wide range of products that you can go on there. If you search in bike components into Temu or into AliExpress, you will be well and truly bamboozled by the amount of products in there. And there will be some really good stuff, and there will be some kind of mediocre stuff, and there'll be some just rubbish stuff too. But I think what's really interesting is that it's stuff from the lesser known brands that could be really good, and it could be the next big thing. And I think if you're a rider that's looking for something that's slightly different, but maybe a trend ahead of what the bigger brands are doing already, and then you can find in your regular bike shop, well, there's something to be had there. I guess another factor of all of these portals is that there are customer reviews. And that's really interesting, because if you've never heard of a brand or you've not used that product before and none of your riding friends are, where in a traditional bike shop, you're probably going to get advice from maybe the mechanics in the back room or one of the shop floor staff about, do you get lots of returns on this product? Do you see this on the trail? Well, with a really new product, you can't really do that. So these consumer reviews are really important. And they can be really useful, especially those with pictures where people have got the product and have taken the picture, because sometimes the reality of what is on Temu versus what you get mailed to you, there can be subtle differences. Maybe just in logo, maybe in just color. Sometimes it is a different product, but these consumer reviews can really help. But we do need to say that we have seen sellers offering discounts for good reviews. So I guess, yeah, it's tricky to know what to trust. And if there's lots and lots of positive reviews, actually spending the time and doing the research and finding, if those reviews are legitimate. I've got personal experience from trying some of these products from Temu, and I tried some brakes that were, well, sort of a bit like a crossbreed between a Hope brake and also a Trick Stuff brake. So they were kind of a merger of both, but then they used sort of like Shimano fitting and apparently Shimano brake pads. And my experience of those brakes was, well, really good just on the trail. I was really impressed by them. But it did kind of pull up some questions. And I'm not an intellectual property lawyer, I'm not kind of like a IP lawyer at all, but the product looked really similar to those other products. And chatting with people sort of in the comments on that video that went up on GMBN, lots of you had also had a similar experience of like not being able to quite get spares, or being able to source the brake pads but only from certain vendors, and then trying to get Shimano ones that didn't fit, then getting Hope ones that didn't fit, and the instructions, well, not being there. Now, all of those things for the price point mean that actually the product does offer pretty good value. but you haven't got this support, you haven't got this backup. And then coming back to the design, it's not a design that they've just developed themselves. And I think there's a story similar around Lewis brakes, which are a really big brand, and they're growing. They sponsor the Intense factory racing team, and they seem to be very good brakes. I mean, up for sort of World Cup podium level stopping power. But there's some stories about how they have told their story about how they bought some of the best brakes, some trick stuff, and then they've kind of tried to develop their own. And this is where it gets, I guess, tricky, is one person's inspiration is somebody else's copying. And, you know, every product in the sort of mountain bike world has taken innovation and taken sort of inspiration from other brands all the way along. But how much of that inspiration is just direct copying? That's a tough question. I think only you can answer that one. I guess the other thing is that some of the brands that are on Temu might be sort of like boutique-y brands that you might have seen on Handmade Bike Show bikes, like really kind of trick cranks and things like this, or trick derailleurs. And the prices that you see them on Temu versus the manufacturer's websites for these cranks or custom rear derailleurs, they're wildly different. So the rear derailleurs could be, you know, $300-400, and on Temu they're just 50 quid. Now I think for me that's kind of like a flag of, okay, something isn't probably what you're going to get, and it is just a knockoff. Again, officially there are no copies, so these are official products, apparently. But it's tricky, it's a grey area. What you do get with bigger brands is a lot more support. They're there supporting the products, they're supporting the dealer network, they're supporting the spares, they're supporting sort of, well, their own websites to tell you how to fit these parts. They're also there if something goes wrong. So if you have a part that's faulty, they can back it up. And with Temu at the moment, that's tricky because you're going through individual vendors. Some people in the comments they've said they've had a really good experience. Other people haven't had a good experience. I think it comes back to if you love tinkering with bikes and you're okay with a part failing, potentially mildly dramatically, it can be okay to use these parts. But it's not as clear cut as if you've got a product from a brand with all of that support and all of that history there for you. So is buying from Temu and AliExpress going to disappear? Is it a trend that's just going to blip up and blip back down? Well, there may be tariffs in the future on where you buy your products. We have no control of that. In terms of sourcing products from them, I think it is a growing trend. It's not going to go away that quickly. But what do you think? Are you buying your group sets? Are you buying gears? Are you buying components from them? Do you kind of worry about kind of like the story of why they're so cheap? Or are you just pleased that you've got cheaper parts and you're mountain biking more? Let us know. Join the debate in the comments. News time! But before the news, it's time to remind you about an awesome competition that Peaty's is running with us. It's in the description down below, where you can win, I think it's like 200 quid's worth of vouchers to buy, well, just tons and tons of Peaty stuff. And related to tons and tons of Peaty stuff, we've got a very special code that gives you, the special GMBN and GMBntech viewers, a discount. It is GMBN20, so type that in at the end, and you will get 20% off, well, like, all the Peaty stuff. They are really good mates with us. We do lots of work with them because they make great products. So yeah, use that code and we'll get stuck into the news. YT are back and they've got the Capra Core range. So this is the Capra model, which is their enduro bike, and they've got lots and lots and lots of different specs and lots of different price points. So the price points run from 2,500 pounds, euros, dollars, it's pretty much all the same, all the way up to about £6,000. And you've got loads of options. You've got Fox or RockShox, you've got Öhlins or Mazzocchi, you've got SRAM, Shimano, carbon fibre and aluminium. So there's a lot going on. So we're not going to dive into all the specs. Essentially, all the models come as set up, or you can choose as 29er or MX wheel size. And there's loads of nice details in terms of you get size specific bars on the different sizes. They're coming with 220 and 200 disc rotors, so you've got lots of stopping power. They've done nice details, like they all come with the Conti Cryptotal Enduro tyres, but they come with a super soft up front. It's a nice little detail. They're all coming with YT Postman droppers, which is their own, but it's been like redesigned, and it's got a huge amount of drop, which is up to 230 mil. As sort of briefly touched on, we've got 5 sizes: small, medium, large, extra large, and an XX large, so really big frame. So if you're a taller person who wants to do enduro, who wants to do hardcore trail riding, really good option. Head angle runs from 64.5 to 64.2 because you've got this flip chip, so you can change it. Seat angle changes, but essentially through the range it's around 78. Reach runs from a good sized on a small 430mm all the way up to a 510 on the XXL size. So for me, two standout models, and that's the core one. So this is the £2,499 Euro bike. Mazzocchi suspension, you've got SRAM DB8 brakes, YT cockpit, and then Shimano Deal Groupset. I just think if you're looking for an enduro bike that's ready to go, it's a good price point. Okay, it's not cheap as some of the bikes we saw last week, but it's still up there. The top spec bike, okay, it is more expensive. It is 6,000 or just a euro, pound, dollar off 6,000. So it is expensive. However, if you do the maths on all the component specs, it offers incredible value. So you've got an ultra high modulus frame, you've got Fox 38 forks, you've got a DHX2 coil, you've got Exo Eagle crankset with a GX transmission, so that's the electronic stuff. You've got Maven brakes, you've got Crank Brothers synthesis wheels, and a YT exclusive of a Renthal Apex bar and fat bar all blacked out. That's been used by Jack Moore to win EDRs. Okay, not that exact spec, but very similar. So yeah, I think it's a really top spec bike. Let us know in the comments. Right, now for something slightly different. Mondraker, known for their World Cup winning downhill bikes and World Cup winning XC bikes, have got a new gravel bike. Okay, so they're using all that technology that they've got from race winning mountain bikes into a gravel bike. It's got a really cleverly designed frame that is meant to smooth out the trail or the gravel a lot. It's got really good geometry as well, so if you're a mountain biker wanting to try the drop bars, it's meant to be really good. It's also got some in-frame storage, which we have seen on lots of bikes, but this time they've got special dedicated bags to fit stuff and they all slide in. Also, as all modern gravel bikes should be, it is one by only. You've got tyre clearance for up to 50mm tyres. That's pretty much a mountain bike size. So the carbon frame and carbon fork have got mounts all over the place. So there's some on the fork and there's some on the frame. So I think you can get two bottles on the inside of the frame, you can get one on the outside. So yeah, if you're designing a bike to go really far, Mondraker have created an amazing benchmark. You've got 5 different sizes and pricing starting from £3,199 in pounds or euros, depending on your location. Okay, switching to a different topic again. Mountain bike is a broad church, it's good. Right, this is a new bike from Whyte. This is the Whyte E-Lyte Evo. And there's two models, there's the RS and there's the Stag Works. Essentially we've got a full power, full torque EMTB in a lightweight package. They say delivering a radically low centre of gravity was the solution to unlock the best handling possible. And to be fair, they have been really clever. They've moved the centre of gravity 21% lower than any of their bikes, and their other bikes were pretty low already. So it's a really clever setup to get that centre of gravity as low as possible, so it shouldn't interfere with the handling of the bike. So it's a trail enduro bike. We've got 150mm fork, 142mm of travel on the back. It's now 29er or MX wheel size, so it's adjustable via a flip chip. And you can use that flip chip to set a high setting or a low setting as well. It's utilising Bosch's new motor, so it's a full power CX performance line motor. You've got a 600 watt-hour battery with 85 newton meters. And it's a 400 watt-hour battery, but you can use a range extender. So there's a lot of numbers there, but effectively what we've got is a really lightweight but full power e-bike. And I say lightweight, Whyte have been really good in terms of giving us a weight but giving us a description. We get lots of numbers from other brands and it is just a brand number, but Whyte have been really nice. So this is a medium, this is with inner tubes but without pedals. So they're being really detailed, because I have heard stories of other brands doing stuff without tyres. Anyway, that complete E-Lyte Evo Stag Works weighs just 20.8 kgs. That is seriously light. Lots of UK specific design features too to work with our muddy, cruddy rides. So we've got sealed routing, nice to see. We've got a forward mount for the charge port, so there's no risk of it getting contaminated or gummed up. Lots of tyre clearance for big 2.5 tyres. A lifetime warranty on bearings. That's lovely. Lifetime warranty against material and manufacturer defects on all the frames too. 4 sizes, 64.5 to 64 head angle, 77.3 seat angle, with a reach that runs from 431 up to 506, and prices start from 7,250. Rimpact, one of the makers of some of the really good inserts for your tyres, well, they've got a tune mass damper, a TMD. We've done a really deep dive on GMBN all about them. Hopefully you've watched it already. If you haven't, dive into that video. And if you want a riding comparison video, Rich has done one on GMBN. So we've got lots of coverage for them. This one is now available for pre-order, and that's just because of customer demand. It fits inside your steer tube. You might have seen other brands where it clamps underneath the stem or potentially on the rear of the bike. Comes in 3 different spring weights, so that's quite clever. The mass in it is 97% pure tungsten, which means that it's heavier than steel, so you get more for your buck because it's a smaller mass. Total system weight is 420 grams, so it will increase your kind of sprung mass, so you'll have suspension benefits there. And the price is from, well, 180 quid. To be honest, if you're racing lots, enduro or downhill, or you're a rider that loves riding but suffers from arm pump, I think this is something that you should definitely have a look at. Okay, switching gears to something, well, quite fun. Sour Bicycles, a wonderful German brand, have got a new pasta party. No, it's not sort of all-you-can-eat pasta party, it's their new XC steel hardtail. So, first, it's made in Germany, so it's a Saxon steel specialist. It's wonderful. First introduced in 2021, it's now been kind of redesigned with lots and lots of feedback from single speeders, trail riders, and continent crossing backpackers. So it's really had some miles in it, it's had some development. So as mentioned, it's made in Germany. You've got a multi-butted, heat-treated chromo frame. I think this is a really interesting feature for me, and it touched on one of the comments, lots of the comments we had last week about single speed. This one is single speed ready because it has an eccentric bottom bracket. Essentially what it means is you've got a BSA, it's a normal bottom bracket, in an eccentric cup that you can move. It offers 14 millimeters of adjustment, and that means that you could, well, play with bottom bracket height if you wanted to get real nerdy, or when you're setting up a single speed, it means it's just got a normal bolt-through rear end. So that's really good. Tapered head tube, as you expect. 2 bottle frames on the inside, 1 on the down tube. Now got a flat mount rear caliper on the rear brake, so that's nice and small and neat. And 4 sizes. So all of that, I'm sure you're kind of like, this sounds good. Now the bad bit, because it's going to be mega, mega expensive. You can remember, this is made in Europe, this is made in Germany, from really high-end steel, and it costs 1,099 euros. I think that's actually very good value. It's a steel frame that's going to last you for a long time. And finally, news, you'll hopefully like this, and if you don't like it, you'll definitely comment about it. It blew me away when I saw it. So Nimbl are an Italian shoe brand. They've been making road shoes for a long time, and they've got an all-new gravel, potentially XC shoe. So yeah, lots of pro roadies use Nimbl shoes. Some of the rumours that I heard, riders were actually paying to use them, which is a really good endorsement. So yeah, they've got some ultra high-end gravel shoes. You've got made in Italy, you've got monocoque sort of bathtub carbon sole, you've got a microfiber upper, you've got dual BOA Li2 closure, super lightweight of 243 grams. Now this is the bit where you might get fired up, or you might get your credit card out. 465 quid. I think that is the most expensive set of shoes I've seen. Let me know in the comments if you've seen more expensive clip shoes. There you go. That's the end of the news. Quiz time! Cane Creek reinvented what essential MTB product? And my answer was the headset to a headset. Which was, I think, in around 1991. We had quite a lot of people who are up on screen now who said a headset. Well done, thank you. And yeah, special shout out for Tim, because so Diacomp USA was the original business. It then changed its name to Cane Creek, and effectively, Tim, yeah, you got it right, I got it wrong. Sort of like Cane Creek was the same as Diacomp USA, and they all invented it, but the names are slightly different, so you're right, Tim. But for all those other people that got it correct and also said A head or threadless, thank you very much. This week's question: Peaty's Products was founded and is named after what mountain bike legend? Let us know in the comments below. Comments! I've got to say this is my favourite part because, well, I said join the debate, and it is a debate. Last week we had loads of great comments, and yeah, hopefully I chatted with you. If I didn't, well, talk to me. I'm in there a lot. It's really fun. It's part of the fun part of my job. Of many fun parts, obviously. So we're discussing entry-level bikes, and we're talking about hardtails, and I asked the question of like, if you'd like to see more single speed, because it's something that was really big in mountain biking, at least for me, and then it sort of has drifted away, and now we've got so many different cultures of riding, down country, up Juro, etc. But single speed, is there still the demand out there from you? And yeah, I think there was. But again, dive into the comments if you disagree. But we've got some great comments here from Laurentus Trirus. He says, yeah, single speed is okay. Fixed gear, hell nah. Yeah, I completely agree. I've rode fixed once and it was really terrifying. I think it was the scariest I've ever been, or scared I've most ever been, apart from being on a tandem. That was even more terrifying. Feedback loops. Yeah, definitely needs attention, not costing double the cost of derailleurs. Yeah, there are some pricey, blingy parts out there. And he understands also that low demand equals high prices, but some bikes, well, he says, but it's simply outrageous. I think we're talking about some mountain bikes being really expensive. And we're going to try and do more on that in the future as well. Palexander, he says, yes, please, more single speed. Okay, watch this space. We will try and do more. Thomas Batty, he's also saying, yes, more single speeds and more hardtails. Okay, people have spoken. We're trying to do it. We're going to make it happen. I think it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Keith the Wheelman. Yes to more single speeds. He's been single speeding for 21 years. Yeah, he also says today's entry-level bikes are pretty impressive, but as he mostly rides a 20-year-old single speed with a downhill fork, should he send a picture into the bike vault? Yes, please send us your picture of that bike. It sounds amazing. I'm just trying to think of what downhill fork you're going to be running on it. Is it a single crown? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to know. And yeah, I guess finally it's, what are we doing this week? We've got some fun videos. We've got how to make your wheels last longer. I mean, that's good advice, sage advice for everybody. And then also that I changed bike size. I switched between a small to a medium, and you'll hear all about it this coming weekend. If you want more single speed content, or if you want to know more about e-bikes, or you want more stories about anything that we've covered in today's topic, whether it be Temu or AliExpress, or rising prices of all components, talk to us in the comments. We're in there, just join the debate.